I don't have a funny intro line. I'm Tom.
I'm Galen.
And these are your 15 minutes of FUME. It's taken so long to get to this point. Production for the Lupercalia 2021 collection was a really intense process, and we've been bottling furiously, but we have the official Lupercalia General Collection perfumes, and we thought, why not smell them and talk about them and maybe sell some of them. How's that sound?
That sounds fine.
So we're breaking the general catalog of Lupercalia scents into two pieces because, not every video needs to be 50 minutes long. It's not 50 minutes of fume, it's 15 minutes of fume. And yes, we fall short of that limit over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But, what if we just reviewed 6 of the Lupercalia perfumes today, and then, another 6 later, and then also we have more shungas to smell. And so we're just gonna go right into the GCs. This collection came out, oh my gosh, was it at the beginning of this month? It's been almost a month that we've had before getting to this point. We still also owe you some Hunger Moon Lunacy reviews. We're very tired. But honestly, this is the thing that I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So we're going to work on these alphabetically, let's say, in the order that they appear in the collection, as presented on our website. Revolutionary. Let's make it easy on everyone, eh?
Okay.
We're all about making it easy, except for on my father, obviously. The first one that we're smelling is AMORETTI, LXXV. Now, this being the Lupercalia collection, they're all, inspired by erotica and romantic poetry and, horny little devils of antiquity. And in many of the instances here, there are poems, for example, that accompany these. And we're not going to read the poems, but AMORETTI is inspired by a poem by Edmund Spenser, and the scent is described as a great and golden love, immortal, undying, infinite, a love brightly burned into the stone of eternity, golden amber and scarlet musk, black vanilla absolute, red apple, Siamese benzoin, and sweet fig. Now, I remember when bottling this, I was like, oh, there's an apple in here. I didn't get to try it on, but I could tell. Wow. Okay, so this is a nice, actually, kind of a juicy red apple is really present right in the bottle, wouldn't you say?
I would.
It smells like a real apple smell. Obviously, there's other stuff in there. Oh, the amber is so nice. I'm kind of reading pretty much all of it in the bottle. All of the notes are here. If I go looking, fig is hard. It's hard for the fig to stand out amidst something really recognizable like an apple. But if I go, I know what I'm looking for, and it's there. That vanilla is gorgeous. The amber is.
It's giving me a weird glimmer of a memory, but I can't place the memory.
Where it's just everyone be quiet. Galen is having a significant revelation.
It smells familiar, but from long ago.
On the Soul Calibur 2 customizable characters in that video game, if you picked the voice of your character depends on, I think, the face that you pick. But anyway, if you made an old woman character, I don't know what she was saying in Japanese, but in English it translated to her screeching, "This reminds me of my younger days," which is a funny thing to say at the end of a battle, I guess.
Right. But of all the things to say.
This reminds me of my younger days, I thought, as a general catch-all for an older woman character to say. I just thought was hilarious. And now I say it all the time. So this perfume reminds me of my younger days.
All the apples and amber and vanilla absolute wafting in the air.
This could be a really kind of light, youthful anodyne scent, but there is a kind of an interesting edge to it. It has a kind of a dark throbbing pulse in there that has got to be a result. The black vanilla absolute, which is the most sinister a vanilla has ever sounded.
Yeah.
It's that dark vanilla. That's the thing. There's nothing about it that reads darkness and madness and depravity. But it does weirdly have a lot of depth, and I think that's because of the fig, the benzoin, the spooky black vanilla absolute. Whereas like things like the amber and the musk definitely take it to, I think, to more of like an adult place. So it's also not like a, you know, teen queen Bath and Body Works apple explosion.
Yeah.
You know, not that there's anything wrong with that, but no, there's like something kind of sophisticated here, and like the juicy sweetness of that apple note is kind of drying off pretty quickly, and what's left is a kind of a hypnotic swirl. It's not like it reminds me a little bit of our poison apple blend, but it has its own kind of like color palette and fantasy that's
it's way different. I mean, it's the apple, of course, but there's something sort of sweetly sinister about this one too.
It's a love brightly burned into the stone of eternity.
What the fuck is this reminding me of? It's like, it just keeps like
your younger days.
I know, but it's like right there, and I'm like, oh, no.
Well, maybe it'll come to you.
Maybe it'll come to me, and I'll just like shout it from the rooftops,
and then I'll type it into the comments.
Yeah.
All right. Well, nice knowing you, Amoretti.
Thank you. I like this one. I'm going to wear this later.
The next one is based on a poem in French, and I've been having nightmares about pronouncing this in front of humans. I don't think you know what an agony it is to basically sit down in front of other humans looking like this and then just like do things wrong for the world to correct you. But here we are, and we are now smelling as plus long qu'un siècle platonique.
Wow, yikes.
Perfume oil. I feel like what's her face in Sisters, in the Brian De Palma movie.
Oh yeah,
Margot Kidder
doing her French. When I go to the supermarket.
Yeah, like you're just like a nice little studied
I am
French accent. I didn't take French in high school, did you?
No, I took German. This has been discussed on the web series.
We talked about you taking German?
Right, because
back when we had to pronounce all that German.
The Hexenoct stuff, and I was like, well, my German's a little rusty.
Well, if your German's rusty, then your
Imagine
French
how
is
rusty
just
my
like,
French is.
Yeah, it's just stuck like
it's
that boat
tetanus
in the Suez Canal. Well, anyway,
this is the one that looks like it says asses plus long QU'UN SIECLE platonique.
Yeah, but that's not what I said.
No, it's
that's
not.
all you.
I mean, but imagine reading that. You're just like, asses plus long what now?
I mean, in any other web store, I would say this is a marketing disaster. But if someone comes to BPAL for our Lupercalia collection and sees a perfume where the first thing it says is asses, before there's any indication that it's in French or anything, they're just like, cool.
Huh, wait, what?
I'm home. I've found my people. Anyway, the scent is a month without you is far longer than a year.
Oh, that smell.
Opal gilded white rose petals. Okay, I'm just like my brain's doing cartwheels right now at the suggestion. Vanilla flower and caramelized benzoin. So we're still kind of like weirdly, I love that even just going alphabetically there's a little overlap with what we just smelled, but just enough difference because I mean, where were the opals?
Sort of woozy sweetness.
In Amoretti. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So, I mean, very rose forward. We haven't smelled a really rosy scent, I think, since Yule with the Peacock Queen, etc. I like what makes it opalescent. I like that it's like a white rose. Opal gilded means like kind of like
shimmer almost.
Flashes of colored fire is what I'm imagining, right? And like how much of this is just me gaslighting myself into thinking I can smell this. But what I'm smelling is a very elegant white rose. And the vanilla and the caramelized benzoin for me are really just kind of like hanging out in the corners, you know, letting the rose have her moment. And this is the kind of thing where if I was able to check back with you like in an hour, maybe I'll have something completely different to say. We don't really do it that way in this video series. We're kind of going at it the way that people would if they were visiting our booth at an event, where it's like, okay, well, try it on, and what you get in 5 minutes is what you get. But this is like a really, just a really gorgeous, refined white rose perfume. It's like soft, but it does have like a bit of like the tartness that rose note can have. I'm getting a little bit more of a kind of like gourmandy sort of like like a little crackling crust of sugar, like kind of around the edge. But I would be hard pressed to identify vanilla or benzoin from just this smell. What do you say?
Yeah, the rose is definitely dominating all of the notes, not in a bad way.
It's very like lush and gorgeous and just kind of like well-rounded.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to calm down a little bit more because I feel like
it'd be a long wait.
Those other two aren't going to show up for a moment.
If you want a rose to calm down, the worst thing you can do is tell it to calm down. That just makes it even more upset.
Uh-oh. I've been doing this wrong the whole time. I've been telling roses to calm down everywhere I go.
Calm down. Oh my gosh. You know,
calm down with your beauty.
Instead of like, you know, making sure that you go around and like, you know, sniff the flowers in life, you're out there telling
Stop
them.
and smell the roses to calm down. Yes. I said that. I just think this is beautiful, and I'm kind of stupefied by it. It's like,
I mean, it's relatively straightforward. There honestly isn't that much to say other than for shopping purposes, if you're looking for the rose in this, like, you're fine.
There it is.
And if you were interested in this in spite of the rose, I would say that a reckoning awaits you. Well, now, of course, where else is there to go except for onward to the stalwart darling of the annual Lupercalia collection, Bright Red Dildo.
Remember, that could land you in HR if you tell your boss.
BRD.
I'm wearing BRD.
Bright Red...
BRD by B-Pal.
Dimetrodon.
Wow!
So, you know...
Bright Red. I have to go.
Dimetrodon was not actually a dinosaur, but it was a proto-mammal. So you have more genetically in common with Dimetrodon than with many other of your favorite dinosaurs. Remember that when it's time to buy toys. Support your family. So the scent of Bright Red Dildo is relatively simple. Red leather and honey. You know? Like, it's straightforward, like you would want in dildo, unless you get one of those dildos that's kind of going in both directions. This dildo is double-headed in that it is a red leather scent and also a honey scent.
I'm just trying to enjoy this, and you're like talking about things that are distracting me.
I would hate for somebody to be distracted by the presence of a dildo.
What a beautifully smutty smell.
It is. It smells relatively filthy, I have to say. It's like she wanted the leather to have like a rough edge, you know? The honey is a really gorgeous, like I don't wear a lot of honey, but there's something about the dildo has like, the leather, get my dildo and my leathers confused. The leather has a kind of like a sharpness and a kind of a stank to it, which I have to say a lot of the leathers that we do are like really smooth leathers that you might not necessarily like, you know, pick out as easily. Like in a Roven that we did recently, it was a nice kind of just like warm sheathed presence. Whereas with this one, there are ridges. I am just a grown humanoid
wearing that hat,
wearing this beautiful fascinator that I added to my hand fascinator. The top one was made by my lovely friend Chuck and sent, and it's been gathering dust on my inspiration cabinet all month while I figure out what to wear it with. Found it. Anyway, congrats. We've made it to Lupercalia. The topic is Bright Red Dildo. Your thoughts?
I love this one, and have for many a year, and
go on.
Just like,
yeah,
feeling really silly.
Like they wouldn't want to be in our shoes right now either.
I'm not wearing any shoes.
I feel like you definitely, like, it's a power move to show up to talk about dildos on camera with like totally barefoot. It's just like, what?
I'm in my home.
I'm in my home. I can talk about whatever I want. Please don't open the box in the back of the closet. No, I'm just kidding. That's not...
What?
I was house sitting for someone once, and they were like, please don't open the box at the back of the closet. That's where I keep all my dildos. You know who you are. I was like, okay. I appreciate the honesty. Wouldn't have thought of it, honestly.
I feel as though we are so off topic.
What is the...
I mean, not really, but, like, we're kind of on topic.
I
but
smell...
Like, we've walked away from, like, the purpose of the video. Walked
we
away.
Have galloped
Honey,
away.
I ran.
I have saddle sores. Okay.
Anyway, bright red dildo is a terrific smell, one to give to friends and family.
Oh, yes, because I like that it's relatively, like, simple enough to where anyone, I think, can get it.
Can really get into it,
accessible as a fragrance, and then it's truly about whether they can handle being a bright red dildo person.
Right. A lot of your friends will be entertained.
But yeah.
Some of them will be a little like, oh...
It's a sharp leather, which I appreciate, and it reminds me of, what are other sharp leather scents, like the Black Rider or like Whip, you know? However, this is like nice and smooth, it's been well polished, and then that honey is just like a really, I mean, completely recognizable, uniform,
gooey,
like,
sleazy honey. Gooey,
sleazy honey with like this like red leather just like thrusting up out of it, so...
There's a visual.
Do not ingest orally or any other way. It is a perfume oil to put, you know, on safe areas of your body. So, pulse points, that would be good, yeah. Avoid mucous membranes. Anyway, we're done. We're done with that one.
Moving on.
And then I pick up the next one, and I picked up bright red dildo.
Bright red dildo.
Ah!
Oh, we're still here.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna go on to... It's All I Have to Bring Today, which I believe was written about a bright red dildo. No, I'm just kidding. It's based on
all I have to bring today.
It's based on an Emily Dickinson poem. I do not know, you know, like, I don't want to make an Emily Dickinson dildo joke. I think
I don't either.
Just did accidentally.
It's all Emily Dickinson has to bring you today is a bright red dildo.
And this poem.
Is it about bees?
It is not about bees. Oh no, there are bees mentioned. Never mind. It's about bees.
She's talking about those bees.
Loves the bees. The
Emily
scent is.
B. Dickinson. Sorry. I'm done.
The scent. I'm gonna cry. I'm crying. The scent is wildflowers, honey, and amber-flecked spring breezes.
Well.
Yeah. I like a general wildflowers. You don't have to tell me what they are. I'm not a botanist. Like, chances are I'll love it. Ooh, okay. Wow, okay, so there's definitely, like, the kind of a zing of, like, freshness off of this, which, of course, I can ascribe to the scent of the breezes.
Yes.
Fascinating. This really does remind me of, like, a warm spring day.
Yeah.
Growing up in Arizona, I knew no other kind, so it's really just not like anything else. It's amazing how many different ways honey can smell. I'm almost getting something, I want to say, like, there's, like, almost like a fruit note that I'm picking up out of this, and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
One of the wildflowers. Maybe the honey. Maybe all of it together.
Right. There's just, like, something kind of luscious about it that I don't really understand. You know, I thought from the description that it maybe would be, like, rather dry.
No.
And there's just something kind of, like, rambunctious and, like, kind of, like, damp about it. And I know I maybe said that in a way like I was describing something horrific, but it's actually quite nice.
It's just really nice and lush.
Lush is a great word to describe it, yeah.
Beautiful. It's like, you know, those, like, beautiful hilltops in Miyazaki movies.
Yes.
It's like that in a bottle.
Yes, thank you.
Spring breezes and the beautiful anime
There's my
hair.
Image. Watch out or your parents will turn into pigs.
Yeah.
But you know, like, it's nice to have, like, a sense of, like, what the air would smell like around me as my parents turned into pigs, and it's just gorgeous.
And it turns out it's really nice, yeah.
I would say, I mean, the honey is not as, like, bombastic here as it is in Bright Red Dildo, but then, you know, what would you expect? And without knowing specific wildflower notes, I will just say that I would say it's like a really nice, sweet, mellow floral. And there is like a freshness to it from Mystery Breeze ingredient that seems to send it off airborne, which I think is really lovely. Very interesting. I think Emily Dickinson would wear this. I know she's not here to like defend herself. She doesn't want to be a shill for our product, but like
Wow.
there's something like really nice. There's a simplicity to it. It is, very sweet, and there's like a whimsy to it. I don't know. I think that it would help be very cheerful, and maybe would distract her from grieving for all of her friends that died of tuberculosis.
I'm just picturing Emily Dickinson as like the spokesperson in the perfume commercials, kind of like some hip young actress in a Neutrogena ad, where she's like,
I'm
breakouts, you hate them, right?
Yeah.
And then like splash the water.
I want Drew Droege, who does the Chloe Sevigny videos, to do Emily Dickinson for BPAL.
Okay.
What a sentence
Same.
full of references.
I like that.
Drew has actually been to the BPAL booth at DragCon, and I personally loaded him up with stuff, so I know he's out there and is aware. And all you would have, I'll make the wig. We will buy you lunch. Anyway, we're getting there. We're getting through all of this. Next we have Like the Very Gods. It's funny because it sounds like an American Gods perfume. It's not. But it is inspired by a poem by Sappho. Now Sappho, as
Emily
many
Dickinson's
of you know,
friend. Just kidding.
Are you a friend? Are you a friend of Dickinson? Are you a friend of Sappho? I love that because "Are you a friend of Sappho" is not even like a veiled like question.
Right.
Yeah, yes, I'm a lesbian. Why?
Yes, duh.
Sappho is a Greek poet from antiquity who was a woman who really loved the ladies, and I love actually. What?
I'm just laughing at "Are you a friend of Sappho?" That's not even coded. Like,
no.
Fuck off.
Yes, definitely.
Duh.
Anyway, Sappho wrote a lot of beautiful poems about loving women, and millennia later, people are still mad about it, I guess. So, the scent is shuddering. Let's just shuddering. Give me a shudder. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shuddering. Sweat-warmed skin,
Whoa.
gleaming with sheer musk. Honeyed olive blossoms, vanilla cedar, white sandalwood, and orris butter. What is, I'm blushing even, reading the notes. It's just, watching, lesbian love scene, right there. It's I've read enough, lesbian Pulp Fiction from, the 60s and onward that I just know the drill. And this is, how you write it. Beth got in there. I'm so proud of her. This is as lesbian a scent as we are ever likely to make. And I should put that on the copy for the ad. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, Olive Blossom. We don't get to do this a lot. You know who loves Olive Blossom is Michelle Visage, because I remember when she came to our booth at DragCon and was asking about that. That's really a tangent, but...
Oh, you are tangenting out, Tangina.
There is... Tangentina.
Yeah, Olive Blossom is a very particular note.
I don't even know how to describe it, but there's something here that's kind of sweet and warm and salty.
Must be the shuddering skin.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm it's like I poked my head into a room where people are having sex and started describing what it smells like. People don't welcome that kind of attention.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know, maybe Sappho would be into it and he'd be like, yes. Hold on, I have to write this down.
You have another verse.
What I'm getting here, though, is a kind of a really sweet, mellow skin musk. And there's this kind of lovely, warm, vegetal, floral kind of rising up off of it.
Woody, sweet woody, floral.
And then kind of little spikes that I want to say flavor crystals of something that must be... I think it's probably the cedar, because the cedar has its own kind of edge, that makes it into a chord of different I don't know, I want to say textures. It's so difficult talking about fragrance. We're just smelling this thing and then trying to make it into words.
No, I'm also, because you said flavor crystals, I'm remembering those gum commercials.
Yes.
Which I always thought flavor crystal sounded so cool.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's not that cool.
Lesbian sex is like regular sex except with flavor crystals. You know?
Okay, stop the video.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna try some on.
Yeah, please do.
Can't do it. Are you a friend of Sappho?
Are you a friend of Sappho? My God. That's like such a like an Aunt Doris thing to ask somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The olive blossom, though.
Yeah.
Really, it just really is.
It's a really unusual,
Specific.
floral, and there's something kind of green about it. You know, which I know is like, you know, you're thinking olives, you're thinking green. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, there's just like, it has its own weird.
It's really hard to describe.
You know those like olive oil cakes though? Have you had those? That's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit.
I think I have.
But in like a sex way. I don't know. I'm struggling here. Like, we're definitely out of our wheelhouse in terms of oh God, in so many levels. But
we need a friend of Sappho.
it was so brave of us to film this video without a single friend of Sappho here to like help us parse the dimensions of this scent. It's just so like rich, and it's just like packed with like different levels of like sweetness, but there's something that's
Sweet
just like
muskiness.
yeah. And there's like it actually smells a little bit oily, which is just kind of like extremely like rapturously like luscious. I don't know. I'm foiled. Emily Dickinson would have described it much better. Okay.
She would have brought in bees.
So this last one is another one. I'm not sure how everyone is pronouncing this, but I found someone on the internet. There's a pronunciation from Latin. You ready?
Luperci.
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 Yeah. So this one the last one we're smelling today is Luperci, and this is kind of the heart of the collection. You know, from antiquity. It's like the Lupercalia scent, and there's a whole little blurb here describing about, you know, the actual festival of Lupercalia in Roman history, which is held on February 15th, which we just kind of like laughed at, sailing right past in our release this year. Anyway, the actual scent. This scent is for the Luperci, the chosen of Faunus, the brothers of the wolf, raw, down and dirty patchouli, gurgum balsam, and essence of Samson root. Sweetened with the heightened sexuality of beeswax, virile juniper, oak moss, ambrette seed over honey and East African musk. Like, it is an actual festival for the senses. I'm excited to get to dip into some patchouli. We've been smelling some really warm, like mellow, ooh, okay, wow. So in the bottle, this is like a powerful, like sex brew. There's danger, you know, there's I'm getting the beeswax, I'm getting the patchouli. I don't know what Samson root smells like. I can track the musk in the bottle. Of course, the honey is in there, but compared to some of the ones we've been smelling, it's of course a much more like...
Plus, if you have honey and beeswax, they're gonna team up, and they're gonna gossip.
I heard she was a friend of Sappho. It's really just like warm and spicy, and like it's got like kind of, it really reminds me of being at a festival, because it's just like depending on where you stand, like smelling different things. Yeah, it's got like this real earthy grittiness to it, and then there's like these incense qualities. I mean, this is like classic B-Pal, actually. It's the kind of thing that really brings out like the erotic from the old world, you know, and doesn't necessarily try to translate it into anything new. And that's what I think people find so fascinating about it, is that it's just like weirdly smells like stepping into the past, you know, but in a kind of way where it's like we have so much to learn from the past, especially in terms of having a good time. Not a cell phone in sight, people just vibing, living life with their pants off. Which explains why there's no cell phones. There's just like nowhere to put them. That beeswax though. The beeswax was a little much for me in like the Strega perfume. But this is... This is like maybe my correct dosage of beeswax. You want as much beeswax as you can get. You would wear just like essence of beeswax.
I would.
For me, it's like I want it to be part of the story, but I don't want to be like, today we're going to the beeswax factory. What I like about this is if I go into it like smelling, looking for the sweetness, I find it. But if I go into it like looking for like the earthiness, I find it.
You find what you're looking for.
You really do. It's like the Portobello Road, except for like no pants. And I love how this combines elements that we've been smelling today and some of the other Lupercalia scents, and then this is just kind of like the whole carnival in one bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good. I've never really, in all the years, I've never really gone for this one. And I know that every year things are a little bit different, so I'm not really sure how the recipe might be different. And I would, if the patchouli, it's great because it's like, it's present, but it's not really like dominating. I kind of expected the way it's described as raw, down and dirty patchouli. Those describe the patchouli note, but not like its prominence in the scent. Like there's it's there, but it's not the, you know, the only game on the boardwalk. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm not really smelling is the juniper, which must just be like blended in there just right. There are green notes in here. I would swear there's like a vetiver, but I'm pretty sure that that's just like the oak moss, maybe. And maybe that Samson root, which I don't know. I wouldn't be able to recognize.
Could be.
Doesn't sound like a friend of Sappho. Wow. Oh my god, I'm so glad that that's the one that we saved for last in this thing. I want to go back to my rose and see what's there. Yes, I'm going to go back and amend my review of the...
Oh, the rose one really aged nicely. Now I'm smelling the vanilla and benzoin.
Yes. I thought that might be the case.
Whoa.
I mean, I still smell the rose, but it's definitely kind of singing in harmony now and not it's not a solo act.
The other notes have come out. Yeah.
This is why I love perfume oils. That's the thing. I really
That's
have
the thing.
so much less patience now for perfumes in other forms because like I want the transformation. Like I want the layers. I don't want it all to be just like homogenous from beginning to end, you know. Anyway, that's what we've got. That's 6 Lupercalia perfumes. We're gonna do the remaining ones later, and we're just gonna keep the reviews coming. Thank you so much for the encouragement. I keep waiting for people to get tired of this and tell us that that we're done. And you're done. It's been really lovely lately to see that these are helpful to people or entertaining or calming or whatever. I cannot believe that we're officially at a point where it's been a year of videos, and going back and looking like at last year's Lupercalia videos, not watching them because I do not have the fortitude for that, but just to like see them as a kind of
acknowledge their existence.
Strange document of what this year has been. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. And to know that we have more people watching and enjoying these than I ever would have counted on. You know, before it started, it felt like a little bit of a public service just to like help people understand what certain bottles might smell like. And now it's just, you know, this lovely community effort, and seeing everyone really get into it has been super gratifying. So thank you. And we will, you know, try to be worth your while. Without caring too much, you know, because it's not about that. Like, this is our home. So, you're welcome. But also, thank you.
Whoa. I don't know. You went through a lot there.
I am
feeling some stuff.
Going through a lot. I mean, it couldn't be that I'm covered in Sappho juice and,
That's it.
bright red dildo, right?
Mm.
So, our dildo only gets brighter red with age. And I'm comfortable letting that be the last word on the subject.
That was me like
What was that?
pulling the light string.
Oh, the light string. Okay, I'm like, what's up there? What is that? Okay, bye.
Bye.